She tore down the Christmas decorations from the lawn, completely unaware that it belonged to her new boss, a black man who would change everything. What happened next will astonish even the most jaded. But let's start from the very beginning. Willow Grove Street in the prestigious suburb radiated a festive atmosphere. Houses shimmered with garlands. Lawns were adorned with reindeer and snowflakes. Jennifer Wilcox, the HOA chairwoman, strolled through the neighborhood with a clipboard in hand. She took great pride in ensuring that the neighborhood's landscaping rules were followed to perfection. But this time, her attention was drawn to house number 24. The Carter family, newcomers to the area, had transformed their lawn into a vibrant display overnight. A massive multicolored Christmas tree, glowing stars, and angel figures decorated with African patterns. To the neighbors, it looked bright and unique, but to Jennifer, it was a violation of the strict, subtle elegance standards. "What an eyesore," she hissed, snapping pictures of the decorations on her phone. By morning, a note had appeared outside the Carters' home. "Remove this or face the consequences." The family ignored the message, preparing for their Christmas dinner. The next day, Jennifer, fed up with the lack of response, angrily tore down the garlands herself and threw them into a trash bin, leaving another note. "You clearly have no respect for the rules, but I'll make sure this doesn't happen again." As she returned home, something caught her eye next door. From a black SUV with government license plates, a man in a sharp suit stepped out. He walked toward the Carters' home. Marcus Carter, the head of the family, glanced briefly at Jennifer, gave her a slight nod, and went inside, leaving her puzzled. Her world hadn't turned upside down yet, but soon she would discover just how deeply her actions had impacted a man who would soon hold significant influence over her life. The atmosphere at Jennifer's workplace was buzzing. Everyone eagerly awaited the introduction of the company's new CEO. Colleagues whispered about his reputation for being strict yet progressive, and the sweeping changes he was expected to bring. Determined to make a good impression, Jennifer arrived in a sharp business suit and claimed a seat in the front row of the conference room. When the door opened, the same man from the SUV walked in, Marcus Carter. His gaze briefly landed on Jennifer, and a faint smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. Jennifer felt a chill run through her. He was her new boss. Marcus began his speech, emphasizing the importance of fostering diversity, equality, and respect in corporate culture. Every word hit Jennifer like a dart, reminding her of the Christmas decorations she had torn down from his lawn. But Marcus didn't address the incident directly. He concluded with a pointed remark. "True leaders demonstrate their principles through actions, not just words." After the meeting, Jennifer barely made it back to her office before receiving a summons to Marcus's. His office was spacious, with floor-to-ceiling windows and sleek modern decor. Marcus stood by his desk, holding the note she had left at his house. "Ms. Wilcox," he began, his tone calm but firm. "It seems we've already met. Funny how small actions can reveal more about someone than an entire resume." Jennifer stumbled over her words, trying to explain that she had acted in the neighborhood's best interest. Marcus raised a hand, cutting her off. "As your new leader, I value initiative," he said, his voice steady. "But I have no tolerance for bias. We'll revisit this conversation later. For now, I suggest you reflect on the values you're promoting." With that, he gestured that the meeting was over. The next day, social media exploded. A neighbor had posted a video of Jennifer tearing down the Carter's decorations. The post quickly went viral, and the comments were filled with outrage. Jennifer watched in horror as her carefully curated world began to crumble under the weight of the consequences of her actions. Events escalated rapidly. The video featuring Jennifer went viral. Clips of her tearing down decorations were accompanied by scathing commentary. Local media picked up the story, dubbing it the Christmas scandal in Willow Grove. Threatening calls and letters flooded her personal phone, and neighbors began avoiding her. Even her colleagues at the office whispered behind her back. Jennifer tried to counter the situation by posting on social media, explaining that she was merely enforcing neighborhood rules. However, her attempt came across as feeble and only fueled the criticism further. Meanwhile, Marcus carried on with his work, maintaining a calm smile. But every time he passed Jennifer in the hallway, he nodded at her with a look that said more than words ever could. This filled her with a mix of shame and fear. 3 days after the scandal broke, Jennifer received an invitation from Marcus to attend an emergency board meeting. When she entered the room, all the company's key executives were present, along with 2 representatives from the legal department. Marcus began the meeting by stating bluntly, "We live in an age where corporate ethics are closely tied to reputation. Anyone representing our company must understand that. I have evidence that one of our employees has violated principles of respect and equality." Jennifer froze. The room was steeped in tense silence, and everyone awaited his next words. "However," Marcus continued, looking directly at her, "I believe people deserve a second chance if they're willing to admit their mistakes. Therefore, Miss Wilcox, I'm giving you a choice. Publicly apologize to my family and the Willow Grove community, or I will have no choice but to inform the board about your actions." Jennifer turned pale. She was faced with a difficult decision: risk her career or admit her wrongdoings in front of everyone. The next day, Jennifer made her decision. She posted a video message in which she acknowledged her mistakes and apologized to the Carters and her neighbors. She also agreed to step down as the HOA chair, stating that she was committed to working on herself. From that moment, her life would never be the same, but her journey toward change had only just begun. After Jennifer's video apology, life around her changed. She was no longer the HOA chair and had lost her status in the eyes of many neighbors. In town, her name became synonymous with a mistake she had made worse by her own actions. Despite this, she chose not to retreat into the shadows, but to prove that she was capable of change. A few days after her public apology, Marcus Carter summoned her to his office. There, he offered her the opportunity to lead a new corporate project aimed at developing training programs for employees on diversity and inclusion principles. "I can see that you're ready to make amends," Marcus said, looking her in the eye. "You can make this project successful, but it will require learning, and most importantly, listening to those you've previously overlooked." At first, Jennifer wasn't sure she could handle it. However, she accepted the challenge. Her days became filled with training sessions, reading articles about systemic discrimination, and engaging with employees from various cultural backgrounds. She frequently discussed issues with Marcus that she had previously dismissed as unimportant. These conversations were not always easy. Sometimes her old biases and assumptions created resistance within her. But Marcus patiently explained, showing her how such views impacted others. Working on the project transformed not only her, but also her reputation. Jennifer began hosting public events for employees, openly sharing her mistakes and emphasizing the importance of learning to accept others. These efforts made her not only an example of redemption, but also a leader who could face adversity and emerge stronger. Meanwhile, Willow Grove entered a new era. The new HOA chair introduced programs to strengthen the community. Monthly meetings where residents could propose ideas and initiatives to beautify the neighborhood. The Carters, despite the past conflict, actively participated in community life. They suggested organizing a Christmas celebration, to which all the neighbors were invited. When the day of the celebration arrived, the streets of Willow Grove were transformed. Every house was adorned with lights, and a giant Christmas tree stood in the town square. The Carters handed out hot chocolate and spent the evening decorating Christmas wreaths with the neighbors. Jennifer hesitated for a long time about whether to attend the event. In the end, she decided to go. She arrived with a box of fresh Christmas ornaments she had chosen specifically for the tree. As she approached the crowd, many neighbors looked at her warily, but Marcus was the first to step forward. "It's nice to see you here, Miss Wilcox," he said with a gentle smile. "Will you help us decorate the tree? We have garlands left, and I think you're the one who should place them at the very top." Jennifer was stunned by his offer. Marcus handed her the garlands, and the Carter children led her to the tree. For the first time in a long while, she felt like she was doing something right. When the garlands lit up, the crowd erupted in applause. That evening became a symbol of transformation. Jennifer realized that it was possible to correct her mistakes if she acted with honesty and genuine intent. Willow Grove became a place where people, despite their differences, could come together for something greater. The celebration ended with warm words and laughter. As Jennifer walked home, she felt she had embarked on a new chapter of her life, one where she no longer feared change but embraced the journey of becoming a better version of herself.